Hi guys, it's Sue. I just thought I'd turn on the camera. I've been playing around, can't get my head in the game, and I've cut out a heap of, you might see from one of my other previous videos, I've been doing a lot of cutting out and stamping and watercolouring and fussy cutting. So I've been busy because I haven't been 100%, but have felt like I need to be doing something. So this is just what I've been doing this week. So I've got lots of bits and pieces here. Anyway, so I did these in watercolor papers. They're very fragile. I need to put them in a different container. So these are all the Tim Holtz, well, this is one set. I've got two sets of them, the wildflower thinlits. This is obviously from the other set, but what I did was some of them, I thought, oh, I can use the negatives of those. And I know this has been done before, and I have seen it, but I can't tell you who I've seen that has done it. Quite possibly Gina from the Firefly Studio 67. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to use them. So I had three that I'd cut out there, and this one is a single one on its own, which is this fellow here. And I thought what I might do is I've got, I don't know, I'm going to finish this one and probably start this one, but I just want to show you what I had done. I'd already, as you know, I'm really loving watercolor paper at the moment. I'm just using the cheap Anko brand, the Kmart brand paper, but it works perfectly for what I want it for. So I like the A3 books because you get more bang for your buck, really. And this was just an A3 sheet that I really roughly cut out, as you can see on the guillotine, and I lined it, and just to get a sort of, I think I've got eight cards out of a sheet this size, so they're about 4 inches, I think 4.25 inches wide by about 6, just under 6 inches in height they would be if you cut that off. I just find them a really good size for journaling cards, and then for my watercolor tags that I do, I've cut a heap here just ready to play. These are 3 inches by just under 6 inches high, so I just find that they're a really good size as well. So I've just decided that because I'm really enjoying playing with them so much, I've gone through and I've cut a heap out. Now this is actually, and I think I used this coffee dyed watercolor paper on the dragonfly tags that I did. So I had a piece of that left, and I managed to, these aren't all the same size, I cut out of it what I could. So I've got 4, how does that work? Should have 6, but anyway, that's okay. Random sized cards there. So what I'm probably going to do is so that's just a negative out of one of those ones that I used. Sorry, I think I used it in the collage in a previous video. Let me just have a look. Yeah, so that's, I'll get my fingers to work. So that's a negative of that one there, and then I've doubled up with another flower. So I just thought, well, I mean, I could have used this and cut out other bits and pieces, but I just quite liked that, so I just trimmed it down. Let's get rid of that. And we might work on that. So normally what I would do is, like I would just add a little bit of ink to these bits here, keep some of this bottom layer on this coffee dyed tag card showing, and then quite possibly what I would do that first, I think, and then cut it out. Let's just do it, hey? Let's just do it. I've gone back to my old mat too. The glass one got too much glare off it, and it wasn't quite, it was just that little bit too short. So it's just to the left of me, so I can grab it if I need it. But okay, so what I think I'll do, mess everywhere. Just in my drawer here, I'm going to add some vintage photo. I'm loving this combination, vintage photo and broken china. So that's what I'm going to add to this tag. So I'm just going to just go and add randomly a bit of colour to this card. I'm using the Distress Oxide because I'll show you why in a minute. And then my handle broke. I'm really hold on to them really tight and they just snap. So, but you can still use them. Add some of this broken china. And you can still see some of that, the lace print underneath, which is quite nice. Okay. So that's that. I'm trying to put everything away when I've used it so that I don't end up with such a huge mess on my desk. I seem to be working in just one little area. I'm just going to wipe that excess off there. Okay, so now I'm just going to do some splatters, and I don't know, let me see if I can find a paintbrush quickly. Okay, so this is just a mister that I have on my desk with just water, and I'm just going to splash on top of that watercolor paper. Okay, put the lid on that. And then I've got just some paper towel here, and I'm just going to probably leave it a little bit longer normally, but I'm just going to roll that on top and then lift, and you can see it leaves, it reactivates the ink. Okay, so I mean that's nothing new, but that's just to show you. You can see I left the water on this a little bit longer and it's gone back to the actual watercolor paper. This is probably I was going to say it's probably James come home again now, but he will probably come home while I'm in the middle of this, make a hell of a noise, so I apologise in advance for that. So these are the dies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that wildflower. I quite like that. I'm just going to put these back. I love how these come in those hard plastic cases so that they can all be kept together and not get lost. Okay, so I've got my Big Shot here to the side. My dusty Big Shot, isn't that disgusting? Let me clean that now that I've seen that. So I've got it on a Rascol trolley. It sits on the top of a Rascol trolley, and even though it gets used, quite often that bit's showing and it catches all the dust. Sorry about that. Done my housework now. So I don't even know whether I'm in frame here. I'm sure you all know how to use the Big Shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it off to the side a little bit there, so that we can just put a word or phrase or something like that down here. And we're just going to wind it through, and then I just wind it back just to get, I mean, these cut really lovely and I've just wound it too far. I just like to wind it back on itself and just hope that I haven't moved that. So, okay. Let me just get this guy out of the way. Okay. And so that's cut really nicely. And then we have, I can't find my poker tool at the moment. So then we have this, which because I've inked it, it's already got some colour to it, which is really nice. So I can actually, I'll put this in here. Jim's eating through a tin of biscuits for me at the moment so that I can put all these fussy cuts, flowers, etc. in there. I've told him to hurry up. So he enjoys, when I find a nice tin, he's my go-to to empty it so that I can utilise it in my craft room. And he doesn't complain. Okay, so you can see similar sort of thing, and this is just the one. So what I'm going to do, so with this, you can see a little bit of a theme happening here. I'm loving the craft cardstock and the watercolor paper, as you can see. So I've done the same sort of thing here. I'm actually going to stitch around that. I've backed this negative onto some Edith Holden paper, and I think I'll do that, or I might even, let me just have a look, see what we've got here. I've got bits and pieces of paper here beside me. You know, that might even be nice just for something different. I'm just wanting to try just some different bits and pieces. And so actually what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use that paper. Or will I use this paper? I know, I'm just going to use that paper. It stands out a little bit more. And that keeps moving. So I am just going to, with a pencil, just going to roughly draw around that, because I want this to be the book paper to be a little bit smaller than this piece here. Okay, so I'm going to cut inside those traced lines there. You can tear this as well. This is really, really rough. So you're not going to see this. I just hope I haven't cut it down too small. Okay, so we can probably even take a little bit more off one end. And that's what you get. So what I'm going to do now, I'm thinking, just let me have a think about this. Yeah, I'm going to put some glue onto, I just need to make sure which side it was. I don't think it really matters. So I'm going to glue that one down. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue, quite a good amount of glue in these bits here. I'm going to sew around it so the edges don't matter so much. My glue's all clogged up now. I just want to get on these little bits here because they're really quite fragile and they can get caught and torn. Okay. And then I'm just going to glue oh, I've forgotten again. That way, I think. Glue this down onto that negative image there. Okay, now I could have inked, I suppose, around here as well, which would have made that pop a bit more, and I might still be able to do that. So just hold on a second, I'll be right back. So I've got these cotton tips. Jim, when he went and got groceries last time, he got these really weird cotton tips. I've never seen them before, really flat on one end and pointy on the other. So I thought maybe I'm probably going to ruin this now. So I'm using some ground espresso. And I'm just going to go in and just on the edges, if I can, because it hasn't all stuck down properly just yet. sort of get it on the edge there. Probably should have done this before, obviously, before I glued it down. So just trying to make that pop a little bit more. I don't particularly want to get it on the underneath book paper if I can help it. So see, these are all glued down really well. I'd have to just lesson learn, Tay, and remember to do it next time. Okay, yeah, it's going to just get too messy and it's all glued down. Anyway, that's what you can use when you've got like tiny little, even if I do that in the, you know, do that now on this bit or after I've inked it and coloured it, I can use little cotton tips like that to ink the edges. Okay, so these, I haven't added enough glue here, so I'm just going to pop some glue in there just so that that sticks down. And there's no chance of it tearing then. Okay, and I'm going to use the ground espresso distress ink, which I'm really liking as well at the moment. It's funny, isn't it, how we go through stages. And I'm just making that really dark on the edges, just so that that pops off any craft card or whatever colour card I decide to put this on, which I'm sure will be probably craft cardstock. I'm just doing that really randomly. Okay, so you can see I've done that with this one here. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on this. I'm jumping all over the place now. I'm going to pop a bit of glue. Excuse my head if it gets in the way. I'm hoping that my sister can do my hair tomorrow. I've been waiting since April and it is driving me mad. So you probably see all the grey bits everywhere. Okay, so I've glued that on there. Now I just need to get a little bit of craft cardstock, which is over here. Got some scraps, that's not big enough. Okay, so same sort of thing. I want to have a bit of a border around my card, so I'm going to glue this onto this one, and once again I'm going to be using the sewing machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, that's all good, you don't have to worry about it. I just like that sewing in all my bits and pieces. I know it got a little bit rough there, and I've actually stuck the nib of that glue through that book paper, and I haven't thought that through very well either. That is a very crooked edge. I normally try and have at least 2 edges that are straight. Anyway, that's all right. I'll trim that down. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly cut around here, leaving a border. So what I'm doing is I'm just using my card as a guide. And as you can see, that's not the same size border as that, but that doesn't concern me at all. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to go and I'm going to sew all around these sides. So I'll just put you on pause so you don't have to listen to that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So I timed that well, and Jim came home while I was sewing, made a hell of a noise, so you didn't get to hear that. Lucky you. Okay, so this one, I'm just trimming those threads off there. This one I did a little bit of zigzag, a little bit of crooked straight stitch. So these I'm not going to, so previous tags that I've done, I've roughed up the watercolor paper, which looks really nice. I've just got, because I've got the book paper on the back there. Oh, let's do it anyway, hey? It's just going to add more texture to the tag, isn't it? So same thing as I've done. So I'm just going to do where the straight stitching is. Why, I don't know, but that's what I'm feeling like doing at the moment. So just roughing that up. Just getting my fingers under there, fingernails under there and lifting. Okay. This one I am not going to now. I was just going to do a straight edge and then rough it up, but I sewed so crooked in the first place, so I've gone round and purposely done a very crooked stitch so that you can't see my original very crooked stitch. Okay, now I probably should have done that before I sewed the tags onto the craft cardstock, but I'm just going to use some of this rose gold mist spray from Craft, and it's, I don't know why, but it's leaking all the time. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a shake and hope it doesn't go everywhere, just to get rid of get some of that shimmer. So I just want some of that. I don't particularly want it on the book paper, that's the only thing. I'm getting it everywhere except where I want it to be. Isn't that the way? So I'm just going to tip it this way and see if I can get a little bit up here. Not too much on there. That'll do. So let me just, it's so funny, we used that at the journal making workshops, and there was a young girl there. She did really well, and she was flicking her, I show them how to do the butterfly watercolor tags that I've made, and she was flicking that. She was having so much fun, but after I went inside, I had rose gold splotches all over my face because I was standing beside her while she was doing it. She'd flicked it everywhere, and it flicked all over my face. I thought I had a disease or something, but that's what it was. Okay, so that just adds another little bit of a dimension there to that. And see, now I just want to do some on that. Oh, hang on, I'm going to do it. Yeah, okay. That'll do, because I'm going to get it all on the book paper otherwise. So I love that stuff. I'm going to, next time I'm near Craft, I'm going to grab some more rose gold, because you can bet as soon as I go to try and get it down the track, they'll probably discontinue it. It's normally the way with everything, isn't it? It's things that you like, they discontinue. Okay, so I'm just going to, on this one I want to add some words or something. But what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to go around, go on this one first because the splatters are probably dry. I'm just going around again with the ground espresso distress ink. So just making those edges really dark, and I'm just going to run over top of that watercolor paper there that I've roughed up as well. Hear all the birds in the background, which is really lovely. It's spring here now, so I've still got a jumper on, but I've got the window open. There's a nice breeze coming through, so it's sort of just that in-between weather. Like, you still need a little bit of long sleeves on, but if you're closed up inside with no windows open, it's way too hot. So, but if you run around inside with just short sleeves on, it's too cold. So give it another couple of weeks and it'll be beautiful. Okay, so I'm much happier with that now that I've added some splotches and inked up around the edges there. I mean, you could leave them as they are. Oh, it's all happening outside, isn't it? As I said, I want to add something here. I'm thinking up here I might add like a label or something. Once again, all my Tim Holtz stamped images that I've stamped and cut out. I just love these. What am I going to put on there? I quite like that. It's simple, but I mean, what if we add a little bit of, I don't know, I always seem to do the same thing, but it's or similar thing. What do they say? If it's not broken, don't fix it. Is that what they say? Something like that. So let me just have a look. I was thinking just adding, I think I will. I'm just going to bite the bullet, do it. I'm just going to add a little bit of cheesecloth here, right? Now, I haven't even measured that or anything, and I know that this has to be cut off a little bit. So I'm going to make it collect number 86. So we're just going to trim that little bit off there. And I'm just going to glue that down. Very simple. Simple but effective. I'm just going to line that up with the edge of the tag there, edge of the journaling card, and just push that down, let the glue go through that cheesecloth. And once that's dry, I'll do it now. I normally wait until it's dry, and then you just sort of fray all the edges of the cheesecloth, and I want it sort of so that it's hanging off the edge of the card there as well. I probably could have even added a little bit more. There you go. Very, very simple. It's quite, I don't know whether that's too much now. Let me just have a look. Just inking around the sides there. I think I like that with that little bit there. It just looked like I'd just gone plop with that, which I had basically, but and just add another layer there. That's those nasty minor birds chasing Roland, my cat, again outside. Poor bugger, he can't go out without them attacking him. Okay, so that's a little bit different. It sort of just adds another dimension. It doesn't feel like that's just plopped on there. So there you have a journaling card. I'll go around and I'll ink that after this video, just to finish that off, and there's journaling space there. So that's a great way to use up your negatives. This one, oh wow, aren't they noisy? I think I've got some of the Tim Holtz phrases. Just bear with me for a sec. So yeah, these sticker books, I did have these in my website too, and I've sold out of them at the moment, so I'm waiting for some more to come in. So I don't think I want to use black, but I've got these where I can, I love these white ones, and I just ink them up. This is really telling for me at, oh, and then I've just put that on way too heavy. Yeah, so I just ink over the top of that. When nothing is sure, everything is possible, because it's just, the times at the moment are just so unsure, aren't they? Okay, so when nothing is sure, everything is possible. And same thing once again, I love using cheesecloth. And I think actually what I'm going to do is, I might even just put these on, just so that it's sort of in theme with this. I'm going to put them on some craft cardstock. And probably could have added some glue, just to make sure that they stay stuck down. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll just finger press them down quite firmly, and I'm going to just cut these out with a little bit of a border, so you can see some of that craft cardstock there as well. And then I'll layer some cheesecloth underneath. I'm going to add a bit of ink around the edge. So see how that just makes it pop a little bit more. I haven't been working on any journals recently either. I really want to get back into that. I've got a few in mind, so hopefully I will find the time to do that fairly soon. Okay, so that's it. It's still very, very simple, very plain, but I don't know, that's just my style. I think less is more. So I'm just going to do 2 strips of cheesecloth, and I'm just really randomly, not even thinking about how much I've cut, so because there's going to be way too much there. Okay, and I'm just going to glue some of that down. Okay, so as you know, I mean, this looks ridiculously way too much, but I like to fray. I rather have too much cheesecloth to begin with, and then I can just cut away or fray away what I don't need. So when nothing is sure, And I'm going to have to probably fray that away so that it's not impeding on the next sentence. Where do I want that? And I'm just going to glue that here. So really quite neutral in colour. I'm going to stick that down like that. And then I'm just going to go through and fray. Once again, I normally do this when the glue is dry, but I'll do it just to show you what I mean. So I like to have lots of texture. Just see, quite possibly not this much texture, but we'll just trim it off. And so all these little bits that I cut off, I keep them, and they get used again, so they're not going to waste. So I'm just fraying that, and I'm just sort of rolling it and just manipulating it to look how I want it to look. Take some of that excess off there. Giving it a haircut. So I'm just sort of manipulating that just so that it's got extra texture. And there you have it. That'll do. Let me just put my pin back in my glue. Now you have 2 journaling cards. Same thing, I'll ink on the back of both of these when we're done, when the video is done. So something really plain, but something just nice just to pop in as a journaling card in your journal. You can even do that as a flip out if you wanted to, or a tuck. But just don't throw out your negatives. If you've got a die cutting machine of any sort, have a think about it. And, you know, like I didn't, when I cut these out, I didn't think about where they were positioned. But then when I saw the negatives, I thought, oh, that looks like a little, you know, in a paddock, some wildflowers in a paddock. So I've just backed it with the book paper, and 2 different looks, Edith Holden book paper in the back of that one, and that one's just a dictionary, an old dictionary. So yeah, 2 different looks, similar but different. They both turned out very different. So I hope that's helped you guys a little bit, and hope you've been able to craft along with me. I might be doing a lot more of these craft along with me videos, because as you know, with me working full-time now, I don't get much time to do a lot of crafting. So when I do, I'd love to be able to craft with you. So anyway, I hope you're all keeping well. Take care, and if you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Thank you to everybody that are already subscribers, and thank you so much for your support. And until next time, I hope you get a little bit of crafting time in. Bye-bye.